Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Zodiac Bandit, and today we finally have some information on the next mini-series from Critical Role, and it's going to be Sam Riegel's mini-series. Some people thought this was a joke, which I thought was kind of funny, but during the live stream, during like the wrap-up, I was like, I'm pretty confident that they're being serious here about him doing the next one. But we finally got some information about it, and the setting, and when it's going to be coming out, so that's very exciting. So, let's get talking about it. So it has now been confirmed that the Sam Riegel miniseries is actually going to be the Wildemount Wildlings. Now this is really fun. I gave a bunch of predictions as to what I thought it could be. I thought it could be some sort of FCG backstory stuff, some Karen Culling stuff, some stuff with Dancer, maybe some Sam Riegel stuff, maybe the Darrington Brigade. But instead, it seems like they're going to be going with the Wildlings, or the Wildemount Wildlings, which I think is very fun. It was the only thing that I didn't really think about before I made that video, and it upsets me to this very millisecond that I didn't think about that, because it's so blatantly obvious, right? We just came off of something that was like super high stress and super tense in Divergence, so it only makes sense to give us something more lighthearted now, which is what this is being portrayed as. So I'm very excited for this because I'm looking for so much more light stuff moving forward compared to the heavy stuff that we've got at the end of Campaign 3 and then with Divergence. So this is very exciting for me in that regard. So I think I'm going to start with the cast first. We have Eden Riegel, which is Sam's sister. We have Alex Lee. We have Liebe Breyer. I hope I'm saying her name right. I really do hope that I didn't mess that up. And Brennan Lee Mulligan. And they're all like the campers. They're the teenage campers. But then we have two camp counselors in Marisha Ray and Ashley Johnson. And they're playing Bo and Yasha. This has me so excited. I am looking forward to this so much. My question is now technically, like, who will the DMPC be? Is it going to be Luke or is it going to be Veth? It could be exciting either way. It could be both, if I'm being totally honest. And I'm super excited for this. So the concept of the idea is this is a group of kids who didn't get any of their merit badges throughout the entire summer, and now they've been placed in the OLGA cabin, which is the Oops, Let's Go Again cabin, meaning that they have one more chance to sort of get their act together and get all of their badges, which I think is super exciting and super funny. And again, I'm very much looking forward to this. Is likely going to be mostly like puzzle solving stuff. So for those of you who don't know, Sam actually does run a D&D game for his kids, and apparently this is going to be, well, kids, and I'm assuming his kids' friends. So I'm assuming a lot of this is going to be based around that, and technically they've already like confirmed that it's been made by kids for adults, but I'm assuming a lot of it's going to be influenced by what Sam does for them, which means likely going to be low combat, higher on the puzzle end of things, which I'm actually very excited for, because I feel like it's been a long time since we've had like just a true puzzle in Critical Role. Like, it's been a minute. I think the last puzzle stuff that they did would have been the trials at Nanamori's place in Campaign 3. So it has been a little while since we've gotten any of these sort of, you know, puzzle-like stuff. Because combat with, like, Veth, Luke, Yasha, and Bo being around just won't make sense, because there's going to be, like, 4 powerful individuals. And then depending on the levels, you could have really weak teenagers or, like, weirdly strong teenagers like Luke. So it's a little funky to try to do combat with like these characters being dotted around the map. So I'm kind of very excited for whatever we get to see, because it's likely not going to be combat oriented. So just to sort of confirm what I just said, I'm going to read the newsletter a bit for you guys here. So we have By Kids for Adults. The Wildemount Wildlings is based on Sam Riegel's home game of D&D with his kids and their friends, and we have consulted them and other kids with an extensive pitch session to create the wildest traps, monsters, and NPCs for the campers to encounter. So while I initially thought there might not be monsters, it says there's going to be monsters. So there might be some like combat, and maybe like Yasha, Veth, Luke, and Bo are going to be like on the outside of it. But I do think because they put the wildest traps first, that's going to lean into traps being the most like common thing, or puzzles and stuff like that. So I am excited for this. I'm very like looking forward to the potential of what this could be. Now, for me, this sparks the idea of when it's set, because if it's set before Campaign 3, like, I doubt it, because Luke like became a prominent character like during the Apogee Solstice. But it could be set beforehand, and Luke might not be all that relevant. He might still be young, and he could just be one of the camp counselors. or sorry, one of the campers themselves. So it could be set before, meaning that Yasha and Bo could be a little bit weaker. Maybe Bo is still looking into like lewdness a little bit, or it could be set after and we can get some confirmation on how some of the world has changed a bit, which is kind of what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping it's set after Campaign 3. That way we get to see more confirmed stuff about how the world has changed in however long it's been since the end of Campaign 3. It could be months, it could be weeks, it could be days, it could be years later, and I would still like to know what's changed in that time, because it's a massive question mark as to what the world of Exandria is going to look like now without the gods, and are we going to see a power vacuum even in the Wildlings campaign? Something tells me I doubt it. We're just probably going to focus on more lighthearted stuff, and maybe the first like 15 to 20 years of the godless Exandria, or the temporarily godless Exandria, is going to be rather, chill and be like, okay, we just did this thing. Let's all relax for a minute, because technically, everyone did come together to fight something. So maybe they need to take a second to rebuild before they start, going after the power vacuum. But I do think it's rather interesting, like, where this could be set. Because depending on when, like, is it after Campaign 2, like, way before Campaign 3? That could change a lot of stuff, too. So I'm very curious as to what exactly this could be. Because if it is set after Campaign 3, that means there's been, like, stuff released from their seals from the Apogee Solstice, like, breaking the locks on everything. So maybe that's what these kids might encounter. They might encounter something along those lines of a beast that has been set free, and now they have to sort of fight it and sort of come up with a unique way to seal it back again, which I think could be a lot of fun, and maybe how they earn all their merit badges, because they learned that they took everything they learned in camp and they used it to seal away this powerful entity. I think that could be fun. I also think that this might be like a good learning experience for a lot of DMs who maybe have younger siblings or younger cousins or something along those lines and want to maybe one day get them playing D&D. I know I have younger cousins who I'd have a game of 4 kids if I wanted to right this minute, but I wouldn't know how to make a D&D game for them. So with this being loosely based off the game for kids at home, maybe it'll teach us, those who don't know how to run a game for kids, how to run a game for kids. So I'm actually looking forward to it in like an educational standpoint, because I am very looking forward to the idea of maybe running a D&D game for some of the kids in my family one day, and maybe even my future kids way down the line. But I would love to be able to learn that kind of stuff, especially from a dad. So I'm looking forward to this for a myriad of reasons, but that one is one I'm looking forward to the most. So this miniseries starts on April 3rd, and there's going to be 3 episodes, which is great. I'm actually very excited for Sam to have more than just like a one-shot to be able to tell a story with, right? I'm very excited into like looking at how he DMs. This is going to be a view into seeing him DMing something longer for his kids, which I think is going to be really cool. And, it's going to be nice for us to see what Sam can do, right? I'm very excited for like seeing him now in that position, in that spot in the table, because something tells me for the rest of this year, we're going to see a lot more miniseries-esque stuff. There's just something pointing me in that direction, right? We've already been confirmed that Matt is going to be doing some sort of Umbra miniseries set in the Daggerheart system, so there's a good chance that we're going to get a lot more miniseries type stuff, and I wouldn't mind getting more of like the regular cast to DM stuff. Also, this would free them up so they can all do a bunch of voice acting stuff, which I'm sure a lot of stuff is happening as a ton of anime are like coming back now. Like One Piece is coming back. I'm not sure how many of them are involved in like the Egghead Island arc, and how many of them are going to be involved in the I'm spacing the Albath arc when that eventually gets animated. But there is a ton of stuff coming out. Like Lazarus, I'm pretty sure is an anime that's coming out soon, which is like the Cowboy Bebop guy. So there's a ton of stuff coming out and coming back. So I'm sure a lot of them are super busy. So having a bunch of them being like spread out and doing their own thing as other people do miniseries would be a great move for them to do. And it would just be like, a good testing thing to see if people can or see if they can get away with doing shorter campaigns, which I think is something that a handful of people have been asking for. I've seen it a few times in my comment section where people have been like, I wouldn't mind them doing something that doesn't take 3 years to get through. So, this might be like the litmus test to see if they can get away with doing stuff like that. So I'm curious to see if that's actually how it plays out. But I'm excited to see Brennan as a player. I don't think I've ever seen him be a player. They did do that Elden Ring one shot, but I didn't watch that. I don't know. I at the time I was playing a lot of Elden Ring and it was pissing me the fuck off. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna listen to this and get mad about it too. But you know, I'm excited to see him playing, and I'm very excited. I'm excited to see the other people joining the cast as well. If Eden Riegel is half as charismatic as Sam is, we're gonna be in for a time with this one. So I'm very excited for that. One last thing before we wrap up the video, it is a D&D game by the sounds of it, right? It's based off Sam Riegel's D&D game at home with his kids and their friends, so I would imagine with it being based off a D&D game, it's going to be a D&D game. So it hasn't been like outright confirmed, but I feel pretty confident in saying we're going to be watching Sam Riegel DM D&D, or sorry, GM D&D as they keep putting it, which is why I'm a little confused, but technically, Dungeons & Dragons does trademark the DM thing, so maybe they can't advertise that. Who knows? But I'm pretty sure it's D&D. So with that all being said, I'm looking forward to this mini-series. I'm super excited to see Sam finally be able to DM in this kind of capacity, and I'm very excited to see Brennan be a player. And obviously, I'm excited to see some of the Mighty Nine come back. They're my favorite group, so looking forward to that. But let me know what you think. Do you think that this is is this the correct setting? Would you have liked to have seen maybe something else? Maybe you'd want to see something heavier. I don't, but I'm curious to know what you guys think. So yeah, I will see you guys on Friday for the recap. No, today's Friday. I'll see you guys on Tuesday for whatever video I make next. And then next Friday, I'll see you guys for the recap of the first episodes of the Wildemount Wildlings. Until then, peace.